because we didn't know what we were doing and we didn't know if we could do it.
Hi guys, welcome to the Homestead. Today we're going to answer the question why we decided to homestead. A question we asked ourselves before we started, and a question I imagine you can ask yourself if you're thinking about it or if you're already doing it and you're at maybe a crossroads, maybe it's getting difficult and you're just trying to really get down to why you're doing this, because it's not easy, it's not always fun, but it is rewarding.
It's his second egg today!
Yeah, baby, what is that? We've had them for like 24 hours.
So why did we start the homestead?
It's always been like an idea in my head, but I never called it homesteading. I just called it, having animals and gardens. I didn't know homesteading was a thing until like recent years. The reason that we started when we did was because I was sick all the time. When we first got married, well, honestly, through my early 20s especially, I was sick a lot. I couldn't eat, and most everything made me either have GERD or just nausea or headaches or tiredness. Just didn't feel good. So we knew that we had to start making changes, and homesteading kind of came out of that.
We tried a few different things at first when we both kind of had enough of really specifically her health. Lena, our middle child, the same way between Aslan and Lena have really benefited from this change that we've made to our diet, to our lives. But we started off vegan, and the food's awesome. We still eat it from time to time, but we found personally, it may not be this for everybody, and I know it isn't, but we really enjoy clean meat. That's just something we enjoy. So that really started looking at how to get our own meat, and with what land we have available now, I don't know if we're going to explore it right now or not, but you can see in our other videos what we have to offer for ourselves. About an acre of usable land. We have a little over 2, so it's not really able to accommodate a cow. We really couldn't afford one a couple years ago, and we started doing this anyway. So chickens was really cheap. It was easy. Well, easier than a cow. Cheaper. It still costs money, but that's where our clean meat adventure began, raising chickens.
Right.
And wow. And no, go ahead.
It was really like seeing Justin Rhodes. I know he's pretty famous on YouTube among homesteaders. He is the reason. Watching his YouTubes and getting into his Abundant Plus community is what led us into raising our own meat chickens. And it was really just like a trial run last year, because we didn't know what we were doing and we didn't know if we could do it. I told Nate this morning that I remember that fear that I had when we were getting goats and when we were getting chickens, and they were all babies, and I wasn't really sure that we could do this. I wasn't really sure, because I had a new baby last year,
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a newborn, and we had baby goats, and we had baby chickens,
50-ish.
babies everywhere, and it was stressful. And now, thinking we're going to be getting a new baby goat, a buckling, so that we can breed and have our own milk, and that doesn't sound as intimidating this time. And we're going to be getting new meat chickens in a month or so, and that doesn't sound all that intimidating this time, and it gets easier.
Very much looking forward to it.
Yeah.
We're running low on our chicken stock, and there's nothing quite like a grass-fed, just fresh chicken that you raise, you process yourself, and then it's on your table.
Yeah.
In a very short period of time.
I think our other reason for homesteading would be not only the condition of our nation and the world and society right now, but also getting a glimpse of God's purpose for man, really. God's purpose in putting us here. I believe that there's just a connection to God and to the earth when you're gardening, when you're working with animals. It's just different. That's what I grew up doing. I grew up playing in the dirt and helping my dad plant stuff and helping my neighbor plant stuff. And I learned a lot of things as a kid because I just felt drawn to that. And I think it was really God drawing me to that, and I just didn't know it.
In the numerous lessons that Jesus taught in the Bible regarding gardening, the vine dresser, the master gardener.
Sowing and reaping.
I mean, he very much taught
the husbandman.
his heavenly lesson through garden imagery, and I don't think that's a coincidence.
And it might sound crazy, but coming back into that just peace of not being in the hustle and the bustle and not striving for the newest and latest gadgets and clothes. I don't think that is what Christ meant for us to do anyway. He made that pretty clear. He was not into those things. And there's a lot of pressure with society and peer pressure, and even the church world. There's a lot of pressure to dress a certain way and to drive a certain thing and to live in a certain type of house. And you're not spoken well of, or you're not viewed well if you don't have these things. You're viewed as less than. But Jesus made it clear that it was the least of these that would inherit the kingdom of God. And I believe it was on a worldly standpoint. What the world sees as success, that is not what God sees as success. And I think our family was another second greatest reason that we started this, because we don't want to raise our kids in this type of society. I don't want to send my kids to a public school because what they're teaching is not okay with me. And I would rather raise them here and teach them what they need to know, and also teach them about life and mortality and God and, taking care of critters and people, making food, family. Another thing that I would really like to see done this year, we are doing a lot of home renovations, kind of refreshing our single wide, and we have been for years, but we really are on target with our goals and really determined to get things done. Something I would also like to see is our guest house be somewhat completed, maybe not fully completed, but to the point where it can hold guests. And really all we need to do is kind of clean it up, and get a bed in there and a window. But one thing that also kind of inspires right now the homesteading life is we want to eat clean, and we want to eat food that we grow, and we also desire inner healing, like healing in our bodies, but not just healing in our bodies, also like healing in our spirit and our soul. And when we first built the guest house, it was before we ever started homesteading, and our desire was to bring people in that just needed to be loved on, that needed healing in their heart and their spirit, and that just needed someone and needed some space to get away, where there was a place that was like country life and, just a quiet place. And that was the whole point that we did that. And now I understand kind of why God even put that off, kind of put it to the side, because we had it started, but now it kind of got pushed to the side because of homesteading. But now I see that I want to create a space where people can come here and eat with our family food that is clean and healing for their body, but also eat of the Word and the things that we have spiritually to feed them. So it's not just a spiritual refreshing, but it's a physical, and soul refreshing. I think that kind of is like both, like why we homestead and our goals for this year.
So our plans for the immediate future this year include, like we said a few minutes ago, getting a buckling, a little baby boy goat that we can breed with our existing goats so that we can have milk, cream, you name it. There's probably about to be a chicken in the shot. Yep, here he comes.
What are you doing out of your pen? Naughty.
Our plan is to make it usable the rest of, or a majority of, the rest of our property. Clearing, removing trees, get a lot of the brush out, be able to have grass that we can utilize for the animals, for anything else, trees, you name it.
Yeah, we hope to plant like fruit trees especially, and like grapes and muscadines, things that we can eat and sustain ourselves and sustain our family and others. But that's probably the most exciting to me, is the thought about planting like a tiny orchard. But I'm excited about milk, but that's going to be like a year from now.
We're going to have meat chickens in the next month and a half, and then very quickly after that, being able to have fresh chicken meat again.
We'll have new baby laying hens. I'm going to order a few from a hatchery just to raise fresh, because if you every spring, if you get new baby chickens, you're sure to have eggs through the winter. I think what I'm most excited about is having the biggest garden that I've ever had this year. That's my goal, to have the most plants, edible, of course, and sunflowers. But I really want to exceed, I guess is the word, any garden that I've planted before.
I would like to, when things are producing fruit, to far exceed my expectation of what we plant. I want to plant assuming it's going to produce a lot, and then when it happens, I would love to be surprised by the amount that it produces.
Right.
So that pretty much extremely sums up a couple reasons why we decided to pursue this lifestyle, and a few of the plans that we have for the coming months.
Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy this content, please like and subscribe, because it really does help, and it helps support our homestead. Thank you guys.
Hope the phone's not dead. Okay.